Yo, what's up guys, Dante here. I am back with another video. Today's video, I am going to explain and break down the easiest, most cohesive, logical way to fix the college football playoff. You've heard the rumors, you heard the talkings out there. They're trying to go to 16 in the next couple years. So, I thought, why not give my 2 cents and break down the easiest way that they can fix how they go about everything. So, I took down a lot of notes just to get my thoughts correct. So, this all really starts on how the season starts. So, I looked at the 2025 schedule. This year, there are games that start August 23rd. That is the second to last Saturday in August for 2025. So, usually the 23rd, that week doesn't count. They call it week 0 because most teams don't play. So, what we're going to do, everyone is going to start the 23rd, regardless. So, everyone starts the 23rd. We're going to play all the way through December 6th, 2025, which will be the official end of the regular season. I say the official end, and I'll break that down in a second. So, from the 23rd to December 6th, that gives us 16 weeks of football. If you take away the 2 weeks for byes that everyone gets, that gives you 14 weeks to play with. So, everyone is going to play essentially 12 games from August 23rd to November 22nd, because that's 14 weeks. You got to take away 2 byes. So by November 22nd, everyone should be. They've had their 2 byes. They played 12 games. The season is done. If you didn't become bowl eligible, your season is done on the 22nd. If you are bowl eligible, you wait for the bowl season. Very simple. Now, week 15, the 29th, that week after, that'll be championship Saturday. So that'll be everyone. So MAC, ACC, SEC, whoever has the conference title game that week, they'll be playing on the 15th. That's Saturday. The 30th, which will be that Sunday, will be the final college football polls. Those polls will indicate how the seeding goes. So I'm going to explain my way for how we're going to seed the bracket. It's very, very simple. But we're going to have to make a few changes that I don't think the committee is willing to make. But it all comes down to sacrifice. And I'm going to use that word a few times in this video because it really brings home the point that I'm trying to make. That the committee has to sacrifice in some aspects. So I'll get into that more. So once you have that done, the 30th, the season is over for most teams, except for, of course, Army-Navy. Army-Navy always plays by themselves the very last week of the season, which will be week 16, and that'll be December 6th. So after December 6th, that'll be the end of the season. So then after December 6th, we'll have the Heisman Trophy ceremony. We'll get into the playoffs and the bowls. Now, this is what we're going to do differently because I'm one of the people, I believe I'm kind of there agreeing with a lot of people. The season went on way too long this year. This way we can condense the season. Everything is done by basically the first few days into 2026, and then the season's over, and then you're good. You don't have to worry about competing with the NFL like they did this year, because that seems to be a big thing. They want to play these games around the NFL, but if you schedule this right and you make some sacrifices, that's the word. You make some sacrifices. You can have this all to yourself, make as much money as possible, and you don't really have to compete much with the pros. All right, so once we got that done, this is what we're going to do. So, The next thing is the ranking system. How do you rank these teams? I'm glad you asked. So, I'm going to use the top 25 that ended the season from last year. So this would be the top 25 that was the final rankings for the CFP. Okay? So you go down the list. You had Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, Boise State, SMU, Alabama, Arizona State, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Clemson. Now, these were the top 16 teams last year. So I'm going to use this as my example to how I break this down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these teams and basically the final top 25 poll that they put out is what you're going to use to seed the teams. So you're not going to do this. We're going to take away the automatic qualifier. Make it simple. If you make it, if they rank you in the top 16, you're in. They put you wherever you fit in the bracket. So it does I'll show you the example. So Clemson was last, right? This year, Clemson was last in. I'll go here. So Clemson was last, right? They were 16. They were the 16th ranked team in the polls. That's where they ended up in the final rankings. They won the ACC, yes, but unfortunately their resume put them there. If that's where they want to put them, that's where they put them. You see, Arizona State was 12. Arizona State is 12. They're going to be the 12th seed. Take away the byes. Boise is 9. Oregon is 1. Georgia is 2. Those are the conference champions. And I'm not saying the conference championship is not important, but the conference championship is just used for your seat, for where you're placed in the seeding. It's not necessary to give you bye. There will be no byes. We take away the byes. You don't need the byes. You take away the byes, and what you do is we're going to start this playoff the week after championship Saturday. So the 29th is championship Saturday, and then what we're going to do is, let me get this here, is what we're going to do is we're going to start December 6th. Now you said, hey Dante, didn't you say Army Navy is the 6th, December 6th? Yes, but my suggestion is what we do is we move up the Army Navy game to Friday. It's still technically it's the end of the season, right? Their game is not going to interfere with anything, and they still get the day to themselves. And you can do anything you want. You can have an early day game. You can have a midday game. You can have Friday Night Lights for the Army Navy game, jeez Christ, which I think would be really cool. Friday Night Lights, Army Navy game. Who wouldn't watch that? And they can have all the ratings to themselves, and they don't have to compete with anything. Then that Saturday, the day after, is when we're going to start this first round. So this is how you would seed it. This is how they seed the brackets for each region in March Madness. So as you can see, this is the legitimate way they should have done it. Oregon will play Clemson. I know that's crazy, but Clemson was the 16th ranked team. They're 16. You'd have Indiana, Boise, Notre Dame, Arizona State, Penn State, Miami, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, SMU, Georgia, and South Carolina. You look at this, and you really couldn't complain about the quality of games. I guess the only game you would really be like, that's kind of crazy, is like Tennessee, SMU. But, I mean, it is what it, I mean, you can't help, how the rankings go, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just how it is. The final rankings are going to have a team like that. And I think that would have been a better matchup for SMU anyway. I think Oregon would have had a better time against Clemson. I think Boise would have had a better time. Like these have all been, in my opinion, a lot more competitive first round games. Miami gets to prove what they can do. Alabama can prove if they really deserve to be in it. You know what I'm saying? Texas, Ole Miss, at the SEC. You know what I'm saying? So you'd have a good bunch of games. that first week. And also, we're going to take away since there's no buys, which I thought this was stupid last year. Every higher seed gets a home game. I think that was very stupid last year. You get a first round bye, but you never get to play at home again. I think that's very stupid. We're also going to take away this right here. This the quarterfinals. These will also be home. So all these games are going to be home until you get to the title game. Title game, my suggestion, we alternate every year between all the New Year's Six bowls, right? So that's how you would decide. So, 1 year you do the Sugar Bowl, 1 year you do the Fiesta Bowl, Rose Bowl, you switch every year, whatever. I think that's how you do it. I think you keep the format right like this. I think this works. Every higher seed gets a home game because people for some reason, people don't respect the FCS playoff, but FCS playoff does this just like this. Everybody stays at home until you get to the title game, and FCS, they play in Frisco, Texas. Same thing here. But they have more sites to choose from every year. It's kind of like a Super Bowl type thing. They want college football to be like the pros. They want to pay the guys. Well, let's make this into a pro format. In the pros, everyone gets home games. You don't have neutral site games in the playoffs except for the Super Bowl. Everyone plays at home. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not an unfair advantage. You got the higher seed. You deserve the home game. You know what I'm saying? You did what you had to do to make sure the committee rewarded you with a higher seed. So that's how that happened. If there's an upset, there's an upset. Oh well. But the higher seed, they get to play at home. But I think it's cool. Indiana will get a home game in the playoffs. Who else we got? Tennessee would have got a home game. You know what I'm saying? Alabama would have had to go to Columbus. That would have been an amazing game. You know what I'm saying? Miami goes to Happy Valley. Arizona State goes to Notre Dame. I mean, these are really quality games you could have. You'd have big ratings. These guys, you'd have Rockets fans. Oregon would have got the home game they deserved. They didn't get one. It's crazy. That's stupid. So yeah, that's how that work. What else? And then so then you just go down the list. You just go down the bracket. There's a game every week. There will be no buys until you get to the championship game. If you get this far, you get a bye. Right? I mean, the weeks off, not buys. There won't be any more weeks off until you get here. So if you start that December 6th Saturday, you go December 13th, December 20th, and then if you want to go all the way through, I put a couple of suggestions. If you just want to end this before New Year's, you play the 27th. Or if you really want to keep the tradition, you can play on New Year's Day. But that also, I guess it ends up kind of being based on the schedule, because this year or next year, January 2026, New Year's Day is on a Thursday. So I don't know if you want a championship game on a Thursday. That would be January 1st. So my actual suggestion is just say, when you get to the 20th, take the 27th off and come back the next following Saturday, January 3rd, 2026. You get whoever comes out of this bracket, they play for the title game, and then you're done. The season's over 17 days earlier than it was last week's. You finished the season 3 weeks earlier with this method. But yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts. I just thought I wanted to put that out there. I've been thinking about this for a while now. So I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about it. Let me put it down, put pen to paper, put the ideas in something concrete so I can see it. And yeah. that is my plan for how to fix the college football playoff. You guys let me know what you think. Does this sound good to you? Does it sound kind of wishy-washy? If you got any other ideas, let me know. Because I do want to hear what other people want to have to say about it. Because I think the sooner we can fix this system, the better off we'll be in the long run. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.